Just blinding whiteness. That's
yeah. Hey, why don't you lead us? Why don't you be the lead host?
What am I? I'm leading.
You're gonna start.
Welcome to the
three.
Don't say
I know.
Welcome to Three Abecedarians. Do I start with you?
Okay.
This is Jordan, I'm Brian, and this is Matt. Welcome to the Three Abecedarians.
You were born for this.
You are really in trouble.
Welcome to the Three Abecedarians. My name is Matt.
Wait, you didn't like mine?
No, I didn't like yours. H is for
Mother's Day.
Hagar and Ishmael.
H is for Mother's
and
Day.
yeah, we decided, Mother's Day is coming up. We're gonna do a famous mother and son duo, who probably you don't want to emulate. If you're a mom, this is not the relationship you want with your son.
Or the reason why you got this.
Right. Yeah.
This whole story.
If this story hits home for you, that's sorry. That sucks.
We'll pray for you. All right. So Hagar and Ishmael, we got the recap.
Oh yeah, the recap, which I wrote.
You
have it
said the
recorded
script.
and totally forget what it says. So
I feel like these should.
what are you do? Are you even paying attention?
I am. We are in the
like
recap
a
right
toddler.
now. I said recap.
Several generations after the Great Flood, there was a man named Abram. God would eventually rename him Abraham, and to avoid any confusion or slips of the tongue, that's how we'll refer to him from here on. Abraham had a wife named Sarai, or Sarai, or some. She was later renamed Sarah, so we're going with that. Abraham and Sarah were old. Even though people in the Old Testament lived much longer than they do now, they had universal health care and everyone was way into essential oils and CrossFit, the Bible goes out of its way to point out how completely freaking old these two people were. They were little more than saggy flesh sacks made of wrinkles and arthritis. Also, they had no children. That's important. I almost forgot to mention it. I was distracted by a mental picture of saggy flesh sacks. It was quite unpleasant. For the sake of brevity, we're going to skip much of Abraham's story and jump to the part where everyone agrees to do something dumb. God promised Abraham a son, but because his wife was so old and her baby maker didn't work anymore, or ever, she told him to, do the necessary work with her servant, Hagar. Scripture fails to describe how awkward the encounter was, but we can all imagine. 9 months later, Hagar gives birth to a son, calling him Ishmael. My favorite part of this is that I don't have a favorite part. Hagar, she went into this as a servant. We don't really know what her attitude was like as a servant. We can assume it was servile. We'll just go ahead with that. But once she became pregnant, she took on a very different attitude. Now, we could say it was hormones, but I don't think that was it. I think that it was this cultural thing where now that you are with child, you have value, especially because your mistress cannot have children. And so that would have made her a little bit haughty. I think Hagar probably understood the covenant, the promise that God had made with Abraham that this son...
Not yet.
You don't think she knew?
Well, the covenant doesn't come till chapter 20.
No, but the promise. No, not the covenant. Not the covenant.
Okay,
not the covenant. I said covenant.
Not yet.
The promise. We'll just go with the promise then, since Jordan's going to be a butthole about it. She probably knows about the promise because as a servant, she's kind of lingering around. She's not considered an ear to be quiet around, so I'm guessing Abraham and Sarah talked a lot about it. She probably expected her child, the child she was carrying, to be the fulfillment of this promise. And that's got to weigh pretty heavily. Like, I was a servant, I was a slave, I was a nobody, and now I'm going to have this child who's going to be the father of nations. And I'm guessing that made her pretty proud. And then when she had Ishmael, and then when God told Abraham, no, that's not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about, you're going to have with Sarah. With wrinkly old saggy flesh sack Sarah. So once she realized that no, this kid is not the promised father of nations, she probably...
I don't know what chapter it was.
Felt very, very despondent and depressed. And we see later when she gets kicked out of the home, when she's sent away because she and her son were mocking Isaac, that she gives up right away. Like, she does not handle hardships well at all. She ran out of water and was like, I can't watch my baby die. So she put him under a shrub or a leafy bush or whatever and then went 100 yards away.
You were right. It was chapter 15.
I'm leaving that in.
You need to because I was wrong.
In fact, I'm looping that. We're going to hear it about 5 times.
You were right. You were right. You were right. You were right. You were right.
I don't know if you can be too hard on her though, because like, if you're out in the desert and you're dying of thirst, you're pretty much sure you're gonna die. But there's no hope. Would you really want to say, I mean, I don't know, maybe, well, I guess maybe it was selfish because you would think you would want to comfort your child till the very end.
Yes.
And then
Right. And here's the thing. It
true.
says that the Lord heard the boy crying.
Not her.
Not her. The boy crying. And then the angel came to her because it was her responsibility to deal with the situation.
Right.
Because he was the innocent in all of this.
Right.
You know? So Hagar, not a great mom. Like I grew up pretty poor, and we ran out of stuff all the time, and I don't ever remember my mom being like, we're out of toilet paper! My baby's never gonna wipe again! You know, I mean...
So then she, like, set you outside next to a tree.
She was like,
I'm gonna go over here.
So I haven't gotten to talk yet.
Oh, you have, but it's all been wrong.
I know.
No,
well,
he
actually...
did say you were right. He did say that.
Yeah,
but
that was your contribution.
See, so the Lord's covenant with Abraham. That's so weird.
We're not even talking about that. We're talking about Hagar and Ishmael.
I know, but now I'm so
We're not even talking about that.
But now I'm so confused on... Anyway, we're going to talk about way back when Matt was talking about why Hagar started it. Or Hagar. You guys are saying Hagar. So.
Hagar.
Hagar. Hagar.
Hagar.
Was getting very displeased with his mistress. And along with what you said, which was right, okay?
That's getting looped too.
Twice. Along with what you said, which was right. Also in that culture, if you were able to conceive, then that meant that you were like divine, like you were blessed by God specifically, and like God's favor was in your eyes. And so a lot of that could have came from Hagar saying, wow, why does Abram still need Sarai? Why does Abram still need Sarah? I have instantly conceived. God's clearly in favor of me. Sarai has been trying for years and hasn't been able to even have a girl.
Yeah.
So like
clearly God doesn't like her.
Clearly. So that was a part of that. But you know, Matt was talking so much I didn't get to share anything.
That's why I talk.
Well, I only shared because I was wrong.
What I think is interesting about the decision that Sarah made to have Hagar be the mother is that when the angels came and talked to them, the angels said specifically, I'm going to come back in a year and your wife Sarah is going to be pregnant. So like the angels specifically, it wasn't like it was Abraham.
Right.
But it was Abraham and Sarah together.
At this point, Ishmael was 13 years old.
Back here at a different point, something else. That's true. So I should.
Hang on, say it.
No, I'm
say
not
it.
I'm not gonna
Say
say
it.
it. I'm not going to say it.
Matt was right.
Matt is just right in this video. Now, for all of those critics out there, all you 10 viewers, please fact check everything we said in this video so we can still prove Matt.
I'm going to assume that if I go back to the other part when the angels first came, they did say specifically, you and Sarah are going to have a child. They didn't say Abraham's going to have this nation, all this kind of stuff. It involves Sarah.
I can't argue with that. That may very well. Yeah,
I'm right.
Be.
I'm right. You
well,
can that back and forth.
You may be
I was right.
You may be right.
You may be wrong.
I may be crazy.
So modern context.
But it just may be a lunatic
You may be
you're
crazy.
looking for.
I mean, I know what you may be.
Billy Joel?
I know Billy Joel.
Okay.
I love Billy Joel.
You don't know that
It's a reference to the song. You may be right.
Oh, no.
You
may be right. You may be wrong anyway.
Now, a wise man once suggested that maybe Sarah did this to prove that it wasn't her bum womb that was causing the traffic jam of babies.
That was me, wasn't it?
It was you. It was
no,
you.
I don't know if it was.
I
don't think it was.
In a previously unrecorded episode, you did. You said maybe Sarah was maybe she was trying to like say, okay, fine, you know what? Maybe everybody thinks it's me, but I think it's Abraham. I think it's him. And why don't you sleep with her? And when she doesn't have a baby, then we'll all see that it's not my fault.
Because in that day, I think
because of the divine power,
right?
And then
it was always the woman's fault.
Yeah,
If things
always
didn't go right.
always the woman's fault.
Yeah.
And then Hagar had the kid, and then Sarah's test.
Like now she's mad.
She's
Because
mad.
now it's her.
Right, and her husband cheated on her. It's
Yeah.
always a trap, guys. Always a trap.
Yeah.
So modern context.
Okay, so Hagar, I think she's very much a drama queen. She's very much, she wants to be the lady of the house. Because that's the world she's in, and because that's the person directly above her, that's the as high as she can, that's the highest position she can hold. And she's not even almost there, but she's close physically, in proximity, she's close to that position. And so she starts to daydream. She starts to feel like maybe that could be me one day. And then her opportunity.
I want to be where people are.
No, she's not the Little Mermaid. I think she's gonna be the lady who's just obsessed with social media, obsessed with getting Instagram likes. Now, as a slave, her personal account isn't gonna really get any likes because she's just like, here's my mistress, isn't she lovely? But she has a secret account where she's like taking pictures of Sarah's dinner and being like, look what I'm snacking on. Ishmael, he's that kid who's like, okay, he's the boss's kid, but like the boss had a kid with a secretary. It's real weird. Nobody wants to like talk about it, but it's kind of hard to ignore, and he's just always there, like going through your Rolodex and like playing on your computer, and you're like, hey, I'm working here. Hey, my dad's the boss, so I can do what I want. And you can't say anything because he's not wrong, but ooh, you don't like him. He's just a butt. Oh my gosh.
Except eventually he gets sent away. Nobody liked him clearly because we didn't talk about that last time in the unfilmed footage, the lost footage of Hagar and Ishmael.
It was filmed. It just bad.
It's
Yeah,
lost
it was
footage
bad.
though. It's gone.
It's literally.
You said unfilmed
I was
footage.
able to get a blooper reel out of it. That was it.
When the angel came and to comfort Hagar in the wilderness before her son died and all this kind of stuff, and he says, "Hey, don't worry about it. You're going to survive." Oh, and by the way, and I wonder if the angel was like trying to encourage her with this, or if he really was just like, I don't know, because what he says is essentially, your son's going to be a jerk and no one's going to like him.
What
wild
a
donkey.
Don't worry though,
Wild
you
ass
guys,
donkeys.
yeah, like.
He's a
It
wild
feels like that's
donkey.
not very comforting. You're out there in the wilderness, this angel comes to save you, and you're like,
Right.
great, I'm saved. And the angel's like, hey, good news.
But-
You're not going to die. Your son's not going to die. Everyone's going to wish he was dead,
Yeah.
but he's not going to die.
But we have to assume that this angel was sent by God.
Right.
And God doesn't send messages that aren't going to hit home. So this angel was telling Hagar exactly what she needed to hear to be comforted, right? So maybe we can infer from that
That's
she's
the
the
kind of
type
sense
of
she wanted.
person to be like, oh, he's gonna make everybody's life miserable. They all made my life miserable, and now they're gonna get theirs. Okay, Hogwarts houses. Hagwarts houses. Okay.
You're not kidding.
Now, no. Jordan suggested that she was a house elf, and I love that.
Because I'm the
Because
best.
she has no choice but to obey. She's asked to do things that seem really ridiculous. Hey, have this baby for me. That seems kind of like, that's a bit much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but she has no choice, and she has to do it.
House elf. You got anything else to add? Anybody? You good?
Oh, I did think of something, actually.
Oh.
Abraham could have said no to Sarah.